Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette, and I'm here with you to stay curious today on a Friday, October 24th, 2025. And my partner, Marty Winkel's here. We're going to have Eric Baker come on in a few minutes and have a little weekend program for y'all here on our pre-charity auction Friday. We hope that you've been checking the lots out at this link. Go to our website. You see auctions at the top, and it'll direct you to 350 lots at the gavel falls on noon tomorrow. I got my eye on a couple things I put a few bids in on, and we're going to look at some of the pretty models that I have on this tease here. And a couple of them are doing pretty good in the pre-bids. So this is a way to help the museum. You get an item for $200. You're going to have a 20% charity fee added to that. So that's $40. So you'll pay $240 for that item plus shipping. And we will thank you for that, as this is a serious cash flow for our museum. So hope that you take part of it. If you can't buy anything this time around, it is an awesome history lesson of things that you never thought of that was in space. Okay, so check out our auction on Saturday. Even if you don't buy anything, I guarantee you a few hours on it, you'll be amazed at what's out there, and then you want to start saving some money. So, oh, the moon's about 3 days old, so it's a crescent in the sky. I hope it's clear wherever you're at, but that Milky Way will be looking beautiful when the moon sets, as well as there's a comet up that I saw through binoculars last night. Comet Lemon with an M. Comet's just got one M though. And saw it through binoculars. Beautiful sight, and amateur astronomers are photographing it left and right. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. As today's show, we're going to tease you with the program today, some news and views. And there's the comet Lemon right there from a friend of mine, Steve Izzo's photograph. And I'm going to bring Eric Baker on here in just a few minutes. Eric was the test project engineer of OV-103, which you space geeks out there know is Discovery, the hardest working shuttle of the 135 shuttle era and mission era, 135 missions. So they're still squabbling about moving it from Udvar-Hazy, Washington, D.C. to Houston. And Eric's sitting over there. Marty has come up with the perfect solution if it has to be moved, so it can be moved with care. So we'll spring that on you here in just a little bit. But we will say up front, we don't want it moved. We think it's fine where it's at. We'll talk more about that. Happy birthday to Susan Kilran. Man, I didn't bring my notes with her. She is, I think, I forget where she's born. Hand me my phone there, Eric. I got busy responding to astronaut Terry Wilcutt. Terry Wilcutt responded to my inquiry about the shuttle fest, and he said he couldn't come. This is Susan Kilran's. I met her many times. She wrote a children's book called An Unlikely Hero, I think, on there. And let me go to my Facebook, our Facebook, real quick and pull up her birthday as. There we go. Let's bring her up. Susan Kilran is fun to be around. She was a pilot of the repeat mission that repeated. Um, STS 83 and 94, the microgravity laboratory. She could have been a commander with another flight, 2 flights under her belt, but her husband was a Navy SEAL, and not just a Navy SEAL, but now he's Vice Admiral Colin Kilran.
Augusta, Georgia.
Pardon me?
Augusta, Georgia. She's born in Augusta.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Thank you. I have it right here. Thank you, Marty. She was born in Augusta, Georgia, October 24th, 1961. 64 years old, a Navy commander, active in motivational talking, and you'll see her out on the circuit. In her book let's see, an unlikely astronaut is what it is. And her mantra, like so many astronauts, is if I can do it, you can do it. So Susan Kilran, you have a chance to see her, please do. She is really a wonderful person, and you'll be delighted in her little book there too. So, all right, let's get some YouTube up here. Sorry to all be late, but I was late because I was communicating with Terry Wilcutt and wanted to jump on that. He said he'd be happy to come to Shuttle Fest in 2027, but he's got a family commitment this year. And he said we'll be just fine with Bakes, his pilot, his commander on a mission or two there. So things are lining up for that. All right, let's see, where are we at? All right, a little bit of the auction. I wanted to tease you with, oh yeah, I would love to own this. Rosalie there, Gary Gerald, you might want this. It'd probably go for around $500-600. This is a contractor model. What these contractor models are is they are made like vacuum molds. They're the high class, highest resin, blah blah blah. But also cool is they're always on a neat stand that has the company name on it. So Tom Celentano said he was at he'd met Susan Kilran a couple times. Carlton Bailey, no luck looking at the comet. I'll have to be standing beside you there to show it to you, but it's a pretty easy in 10 by 35 binoculars. Just Comet Lemon star map, and someone will take you there. So that's a nice one I would like to have. I'm not sure the scale of that. I'm thinking it's probably about the size of this water bottle there, as most of them are. A lot of rockets built by companies are revered out there. This is the Lockheed Agena rocket. Okay, the Agena was the target vehicle for the Gemini. I think a couple missions there, but what makes it really cool is the stand that it's on, with the detail of Lockheed Agena space vehicle written on there. That should go from $500 to $1,000. If I move the chair here, there we go. The bid's up to 125. Okay, two bids. So nobody's bid more than $125. So that would be a steal at that price. And drool over this. The bid's up to $700. I see 11 bids on it. Now that doesn't mean 11 people. That means maybe 2 people and 5 bids each that they've raised it up there. Should go for $1,000, easily $1,000. Be disappointed if it doesn't. This is about the size of a grapefruit, Marty. Wouldn't you say that, a good sized grapefruit? Yeah. And it's a beautiful stand on there with the Grumman, and it is very detailed. Particularly, you want to see the communications antennas. What's the one sticking up in the back with the cone on it, Marty? The UHF?
No, the one on the left or the one strictly in the back?
Well, tell us the...
Well, the one up front is the rendezvous radar. The one to the left is the S-band. If you see the one sticking straight up, almost like a stick, that's the EVA antenna.
EVA antennas, all right, to relay from them on the surface to Earth, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Steve Jokums met Susan during our STS-133 trip in 2011, so I'm sure you're on board, as she's really a nice lady. Dave Stangy's on board there. Okay, great to see you all on there. You know, this is a beautiful model to have there. But look at the bid already, $1,600 on this Rockwell Apollo Command and Service Module Contractor Edition. Marty, I've never seen one of these, okay? And it's a pretty cool looking rocket engine there. You see the big bell on the bottom and so forth. And a lot of these do come apart. I don't know if that escape rocket and the whole cover on it would come off or not. I would suspect it probably does. So those are some items to get juiced up over. You can own this. We have this in our collection. in the Apollo gallery. This is transparencies that you can see in the upper right-hand corner is plastic. You flip this page over, it peels the skin off of another layer of the orbiter on both sides. Very cool to have. Usually go for a couple $100. And then a lot of autographs at the auction. Apollo 9 proof cover signed by the full crew. Okay, Dave Scott, um, Rusty Schweikert, and Jim McDivitt, the commander there. Nice, bold signature of all of them on there. I'd like to have that. Now, that should go for a minimum of $400. Okay. With the button, the Apollo 9, you don't see that. That's really probably a $50 button up at the top there. Uh, uh, so for the Apollo 9 was LEM number 3, Marty?
Yeah, right.
LEM 3. Okay. Thank you, buddy. And I might bid on these. I have the metal. I own both of these. I think the one on the left is actually paper that is pasted to the globe, but that's a real metal globe on the other side. In fact, I have it over on my desk up there with the signature of Charlie Duke on it there. So those should go for a couple $100 easy on there. But I might just put 125 in there and see if I can snag him for that. All right. And finally, the man, 95-year-old Buzz Aldrin. He didn't sign this when he was 95 because he's not signing things anymore. Pretty bold, strong signature of him on the moon. This is the visor shot, we call it, because Neil in the lunar module and Buzz's shadows in the visor. I claim that 2,000 years from now, we will be looking at this like we're looking at a statue of Julius Caesar. Okay, that this will be one of the images that endures not hundreds, but thousands of years. And it could be the most important photograph ever made. Man leaving the environs of Earth there. So you could own that probably for $400 or $500 if it doesn't get in a bidding war. It's up to $325, I see. So that's good. Should go for $800. This is I believe on a photograph. All right, that's different than a lithograph because it's on a photograph. That makes it value a lot more, like at least $100 more in collectors' minds. So great. Well, I'm going to bring Eric Baker over here. Eric has been on our show the last few Fridays. Please go look his name up or harvest through our things there. Eric, have a seat there, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Great to see you. How was everything? Let him sit down here. We're looking. Hope you get a little starshine in your eyes this weekend. Are you an outdoors type of person?
I actually have a home telescope. I bought a fairly small one when Halley's Comet first came by, a little red Tasco reflector.
Uh-huh.
And we actually were able to see it. You really had to go out into the sticks to get away from the lights of town. But
yep. Well, you're not an RV or camper or sitting around with marshmallows and
my camping days are way behind me.
Yeah, right. Mine are too. Glamping maybe.
That's right.
Might be in the more that's right on there. Well, he's a great guy. He's a very valuable asset to our museum and has been for a decade or so. You spent 15 years with this orbiter OV-103. Let me see what I got racked up here, Marty. There you go. There. You'll fix that there. I love this picture of Discovery doing the turnaround there. Just the flight of it, and the photographs being taken from the astronauts inside the ISS. And Eric had a letter to the editor published in the
Aviation Week and Space Technology.
There, thank you very much. And you basically say that none of the orbiter vehicles ever had a home at Johnson Space Center. The orbiters were all assembled in California from segments constructed by companies across America. All space shuttle launches were from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And but you're attached to this because you spent how many years as the lead project engineer of Discovery?
About 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We had all of the senior engineers in test project engineering basically became a vehicle lead at some point. And if they moved on, then we had to bring somebody else up. And they said, how would you like to do this? Well, do you think I can? Sure. So I said, okay. Very seldom should you turn down a promotion.
Yeah, right.
And because it just meant that I was going to have to learn a lot more, a lot faster.
So you know the vehicle inside and out, watched it.
I learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, if I'm talking to a guest here, I can bring up something, dredge it up from the depths of the memory, and other people at the museum says, "Oh yeah, that rings a bell," but it's I never knew everything about that vehicle. It was just so complicated. Mm-hmm. Every test project engineer had a 3-inch binder full of notes just to keep them as sharp as possible about anything they might see during any day's activity if you were sitting on console. Mm-hmm. It was called your goodie book.
Your goodie book, all right.
And because an engineer is taught in school, there's no way you can learn this all. And so there are engineering books for mechanical engineering, for civil engineering, all the disciplines of all the tables and things that nobody memorizes because it's impossible. There might be somebody with an eidetic memory that could, just look at it once. But the goodie book was one of the major reference materials for space shuttle orbiter engineers.
So when you see headlines that are, this is in the news, I hope that you all know the story that it was in the congressional Congress bill that Discovery be moved from Udvar-Hazy at Smithsonian, Washington, D.C. to Johnson Space Center. 2 senators from Texas are promoting that. And when you see and a Senator Mark, mostly Rubio. I'm not much of a political person, but Rubio, and then there's another senator and
Well, Rubio's Secretary of State.
Oh no, who am I thinking of? Who's the Texas senator that wants to move it there?
Ted Cruz.
Cruz, that's it. Ted Cruz. Okay. Like I said, don't know politics that well, so. The Smithsonian might have to cut Space Shuttle Discovery into pieces to get it to Texas. When you read a headline like that, does your stomach churn?
Pretty much, because you have to understand moving these things was not simple, even from, just
California to here.
Well, California here was hard because you had to have a 747 capable of carrying it. And
you're talking about just moving it from the OPF to the VAB.
Right. Now, normally they would roll it across early on its own wheels, but they really preferred to have those buttoned up, and they eventually got a multi-wheel transport vehicle.
Yeah, from Vandenberg.
From Vandenberg.
Yeah.
That was because they had to move. Their OPF was miles from their launch site at Slick 6 in Vandenberg, and so they had to put it on this wheeled vehicle and move it around roads to get it to the launch site. But if you want to move the vehicle right now, okay. Right now it's sitting on its landing gear at the Udvar-Hazy. That landing gear is not really designed to roll it anywhere great distance. So you'd have to have some way of mounting it onto something else to get it to a barge that, okay, can you get it through wherever, or are you going to have to disassemble it because it's got a wingspan of, X number of feet. They had to cut down, hundreds of trees in California just to get it from the airport where it landed, Endeavor landed, to the science center. And then they had to promise to plant, 2 trees for everyone they cut down to get it through the streets. And they had to take down street lights and, stoplights and all sorts of things. So if you're going to try to move Discovery, you're going to have to do some engineering in order to do it without damaging it. Because if you have to take the wings off because it's too wide or too tall, you've got to take the thermal protection system off the outside to get to the structure to take it apart. And now you've damaged a priceless, iconic piece of aerospace history.
With the patina of 39 reentries, is
Correct.
that right? Consult the scroll here, the shuttle scroll. 39 missions, 148 million miles, 5,830 orbits of the Earth, and it's time in space exactly 365 days a year. On 39 missions, that's about eight days a mission on their average on there. So had 252 crew members. Now that's not individual people, because some rode at most of one. And one of the people who was the commander of it was Mark Kelly, and he's a senator in New Mexico, and the Senator Mark Warner of Virginia. This week we're on Collect Space and other places.
Ars Mechanic, I believe.
Yeah.
Ours was I got a link from one of our other engineers and saw that right up on Ars Mechanica.
So it's getting a heated battle because it apparently has to be moved within 18 months in January 27, or the money dries up or something like that.
Plus, the government doesn't own it.
Yes, you're going to, and this is what you shared with me. I know y'all can't exactly read it, but I have in my hands here a copy of
basically the transfer of
disposal
ownership
case.
This is a standard government document when surplus equipment is moved from one government entity to a non-government entity.
14 digits with an S at the top. Case description: orbiter, shuttle Discovery. Item 001. Date accessed April 27th, 2012. Okay, its last mission was in 20.
It has how much it was new and what it's worth now, or at the time of the transfer.
And that amount is cost charge. I didn't blow that up.
It was millions of dollars.
It's $9,228,800. Oh, new is 793 million. Cost. I didn't see those numbers there. They got all kinds of cost change. Was 10 million. But we know it cost $2 billion.
Well, that was, your development costs and all of that
Oh,
stuff.
okay. So they give it new at $798,234.
Millions, and then
To 793,237,111. There you go. And its cost charge is $7 million. So you're talking, $750 million at least. And there it is. Acquisition cost $758,621. All right. It does say serial number OV103.
that's right.
Good.
That's its tail number.
And Rockwell International Manufacturer. It's got some model numbers. Even got a model number up there. MV0070A. So now what some of the politics that I'm reading that they're wrangling about is, but the Smithsonian wouldn't exist without 3/4 of its money coming from the government
That
grants.
doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter?
No.
Okay.
It's America's attic. It's where all of our most valuable things reside. The Johnson Space Center is a fine institution, does a lot of good work, but it doesn't, it's the land of simulated orbiters.
Well, cutting it apart is the big thing that was in the news this week. Is
Right.
These senators even showing a chopping block of vegetables and stuff like that. You wouldn't chop up the Mona Lisa, they
Correct.
insinuate and all
Now,
that. So
supposedly the money in that bill is to move it, but they haven't bought it yet.
they have to buy it.
Well, it's not, doesn't belong to the government.
Okay. Well,
They-
you're right. There
they-
is the bill of sale.
They donated.
to the
I'm sure they
Smithsonian.
wrote it off on their taxes.
Okay. There you go.
Unless you've got some other way to move it, other than, normal transport. Do you have any ideas on that?
I do have an idea of that. I don't. Marty Winkel has an idea that he come up a brilliant idea of how to, if it has to be moved, Marty's come up with a foolproof idea how to do that. And the beautiful, I will share that with you in just a second, but the 39 missions, the beautiful patches, the return to flight twice, where the hopes and dreams of America's crewed space program was on the return to flight of STS-26 at the top in the middle, the two patches, and then of course 114 in there, the construction of the International Space Station, just iconic on there. And after all, Houston's got the SCA, okay, and is that Pathfinder they call that, or
Yeah.
okay, and we were thinking Pathfinder might be used in a photo that was President Carter at the VAB in 1978. But I've you been to Johnson Space Center? And
Not
seen all
since
that?
not since they put that display up.
Yeah, I checked that out. You can look inside of it. You can't go inside of it, but it's pretty cool. But Marty has got a foolproof method, Marty, to move the Discovery if it has to be moved. He's got it figured out. Marty, what did you figure out?
Well, the only thing I can figure out, I think the only way possible, is by magic.
That's right, magic.
That's right.
Nobody thought about that, Eric. We'll get David Copperfield, who made the Statue of Liberty disappear in 1983.
83, and then reappear.
Yeah, and there's David Copperfield. He made the Statue of Liberty disappear. All right, there you see it, there you don't. All right, and then he also made a Learjet vanish. So Marty, I think you're onto something here. We've got a phone call into him. That was another reason why we were late today. And I think that we could get David Copperfield to take Discovery and put it out there at the George Abbey Park bingo, like magic.
There you go.
What do you think? What do you think, huh? You think it would work? The George Abbey Park now, in the future, housing Discovery. But we got to get David Copperfield on board. But Marty, we really don't want that to happen, do we?
No, we really don't. And the
We
only
don't.
reason
But
why-
there's a good reason why.
Yeah.
We think we don't think it'll ever happen. Marty, what's that reason?
because we just don't believe in magic.
There you go. We just don't believe in magic. Keep Discovery where it belongs, right there. It looks great. I like it on the ground there. It's kind of cool that you can think about walking around it and stuff like that. And plus, you can see the connections of the ET and stuff on the floor that you can't see
Yeah.
on Atlantis because the support system is there. So, Eric, I think, thank you. We're going to keep hammering this there. You sit right there a second, but thank you, everybody. Once again, we're going to do it with magic with David Copperfield, or nobody will be able to do it at all, we hope. So, hope you enjoyed that little segment of Stay Curious today. We've got, again, a beautiful comet in the sky. Today's the 24th. It's just kind of going along the the horizon about to 15 degrees up. Kind of look for that bright star Alphecca up there. That's where it's below tonight, and use that as a springboard. All right. But if you're patient and just scan with some binoculars and hold those binoculars in.
Is it on the way in or out of the
Out. It was closest to Earth today, or yesterday, but it's just whizzed by Earth. Now it's getting closer to the sun, so it's getting brighter,
so
and the
it's
tail's
still
getting longer.
It's still going toward the sun.
Yes, yeah.
So it's still going in.
Yes, it is. It hasn't gone around the sun, so it's going to be a nice one here for the next week or so, and definitely maybe 2 weeks, and definitely the comet of the year up there. And here's a comet shot of. I'll make it smaller there. Professional shot on there. You can't see it too well, Eric, but there's a lot of streaks in it, and that's satellites going through there. But again, my friend Steve Izzo with a digital camera telescope called C-Star. These are taking the rage as it's a 6-minute exposure, but it's like 12, 30-second exposures stacked on top of each other. That's how this works. And from his light polluted condo in Cape Canaveral.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good up there. So get out and see it. Also, we know it's autumn time. Thank you, Mitch Rothman, for sharing your aspens in Colorado. Hope you're enjoying some fall foliage there. I might get away next weekend to see some up in Tennessee. We'll see. But also, it's World Series time. And though you might not be a baseball fan, it's always fun to think about the World Series, I think. America's passionate game for over 100 years. And
I was rooting for the Brewers and Seattle.
Okay.
Two ones that hadn't, well, Seattle's never been
in, yeah.
And the Brewers haven't been in since they were the Braves.
There you go. And the Dodgers against the Toronto Blue Jays. And Toronto, of course, being in Canada, you've got an entire country against you, okay, which is really boils down to. So first game's tonight, and enjoy some of the World Series as your favorite team might not be in it, but to me it's kind of like the Indy 500, the Super Bowl. It's a tradition to kind of.
You watch it for the commercials.
That's right. You watch it for the commercials, and you attend it for the food. You go to the parties for the food that people have to eat there. So, Marty, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Dean Babcock is asking, what is the speed of this comet?
The speed?
The speed.
Speed of a comet is around 30,000 miles an hour, 30 to 50,000 miles an hour. Most objects in the solar gravity is doing that. Great question. This comet, interstellar comet, is going 200,000 miles an hour. So it has been pulled and whipped around our area of our Milky Way galaxy and accelerated some. And we'll talk about get some backyard astronomy in on Monday as the moon will be up, and we can talk about this comet. That it's not an alien spaceship, but it is behind the sun, and it's amazing. It's not going to whip around close to us because it's saying bye-bye. But amazing that you got an intruder from another star system, and we think our star system and humans developed from the debris floating around the entire sun, our star. And so it could be different in another star system, and the comet does show some different characteristics. So, well, hope you all enjoyed our week of staying curious with you here. Appreciate everybody watching, and I hope that you enjoy Marty's solution to moving Discovery without harming it. We will just get if David Copperfield's not available, we'll get somebody else and see if we can do it by magic. So.
Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah, okay. Get your Harry Potter people to do it. Marty, you got anything that we need to clean up on Streamlabs?
Nope, we look good.
Good. Looks like everybody's enjoyed talking to each other today in today's program. We can't wait to wrap it up again. Okay, and do it again next week. And again, thank you to my friend here, Eric Baker, for all that he does. He's got his Skunk Works hat on there. All right, and then just a regular motif of Florida
Well,
with the NASA logo.
NASA
There you
Hawaiian
go.
shirt.
Names.
Hmm? Oh yeah, well, I want to read off some of the names watching today. RG Jubilee. Why don't you read them off there so they can hear your golden voice?
Steve Jokums,
Yep.
Carlton Bailey, Mitch Rothman, Doug Forrest, Dean Babcock, Tom Uziak, Tom Salatano, Dave Stang, Fred 36956. That's a lot of Freds. And the Freeway of Others.
There we go. Freeway of
Okay.
Others. Well, but the Freeway, Fred, and Dean. I don't think Dean's been in our museum.
You want to say anything
Yeah,
about?
Dean was in the museum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was here during Shuttle Fest 4.
You want to say anything about what happened on October 24th in Russia?
No, yeah,
In
go ahead.
1960?
We should have done that space history.
That was today in space history. It was kind of sad in the fact that in 1960 on October 24th had one of the biggest Russian space disasters. They were getting ready for a test of one of their new ICBMs, and it exploded on the pad and killed. The estimates are from 59 to what they admit to maybe as high as 300 people, including a high-ranking general.
Nedlin.
Yeah.
The Nedlin explosion. We actually have that on the reel, I think, that Murphy Wardman put together of greatest explosions, which is the most popular video on YouTube. There's a bunch of explosions of launch mishaps, I think it's called.
Yeah, they did.
I think that's in there.
They did have some cameras rolling, and they happened to catch the explosion. Of course, the Russians denied anything happened, and they didn't admit to it until '89. But
May have just been smoking a cigarette next to a fueled rocket.
no, because there was one guy that survived, and they
Oh.
asked, "Well, how did you survive?" Because he had gone far enough away to take a smoke break,
Oh, okay.
and he still got burned, but he was behind a bunker, and so he was saved from the major blast.
Well, there you go. Space history today, 1961, you said?
60.
1960. Big setback for Soviet Union's ICBM. We had U-2 planes flying over that sucker and looking at it probably within hours of it there, wouldn't you think?
It took a long time to get a U-2 flight
Really?
scheduled.
All right.
I don't know if they were still doing them at that time.
Well, I'm just saying we probably found out about it in a
Yeah.
clandestine way in there. So thank you all for enjoying this week with us. We know you're telling your friends to like us, share us, and check out all of our social media at the American Space Museum here. So thank you, Eric. Y'all have a good weekend, okay? And I'm Mark Marquette, and it has been my pleasure this week to bridge the space between us. See you later.